black people. What makes you think that Mexicans are going to come running to y'all for help? What for? Y'all black people can't even help yourselves. That's wild. Mexican people are hardworking people.
He says that as if we aren't watching the videos of Mexican people calling for black people to help and to unify for what it is that they are currently going through. He mentions that Mexicans are hardworking people as if black people aren't hardworking people. He mentions that why should Mexicans come to black people because black people can't even help ourselves? We seem to be doing just fine. We seem to be doing just fine. We have fallouts in the black community regularly. But when it really came down to it, black people unified and Hispanics did not. But let's let them continue.
Even help yourselves. That's wild. Mexican people are hardworking people. Mexican people stick together. They make it work. That's the total opposite of a black person. You want to call me a racist? Go right ahead. I'm just keeping it real. Like I said, Mexican people are not alone. They have all of us. What makes you think that a Mexican will say, oh, okay, well, we have the blacks. Let's go to them. Come on now. Y'all don't even trust each other. What makes you think that a Mexican will trust you if you don't even trust your brother? Get your popcorn ready and watch how Mexicans make this work.
Is this how y'all stick together? Y'all lives were on the line. Your livelihood, your lives here in the United States were on the line. And this is how y'all stuck together. Latino women, 39% voted for you all to be deported. Latino men, 54% of you voted to have your family members, your friends, your children, your nieces, your nephews deported. That's how y'all stick together. If that's how y'all stick together, I'll stick to how black people stick together, where 92% of black women voted to protect all marginalized communities, especially the Mexican community, where 77% to 80%, because I've seen where it comes to black men, I've seen between 77 and 80% of black men voted to protect all POC communities, specifically the Mexican community. I'll take how black people stick together over how you all stick together.
I completely agree with this statement. People are always wondering if I experience racism in Mexico, but to be honest, I feel like I observe classism more than anything. Like, I personally haven't had a racist experience, but the classism is real here. It really is. Like, and you can just see the drastic difference between like rich Mexicans and your average everyday working people Mexican. Like, it's so in your face. And I see a lot of rich Mexicans, a lot. And they definitely have like this air of, you know, like, even I'm just a regular degular, you know what I mean? I've even had, like, for example, I was in a grocery store the other day. It was this girl, like, I can tell she had work done, like, literally had a big old booty, the boobs. She was carrying a Christian Dior bag. No, what's that? Whatever, I don't care what the bag. It was that very popular, like, tote bag that people always carrying. And I'm looking for tuna, and she literally, I'm sitting here looking for tuna, pulls her cart in front of the tuna thing and starts looking for tuna. I said, disculpe? The fuck? Like, you see me looking at this shit and you just pulled up, like, I don't give a fuck what you looking at, bitch. And then I said the Scoopy, right? And she looked at me. I kid you not. She looked at me and she said, this Scoopy. Like, I was like, ah! Okay! Like, no, the classism is really real here. Like, you can just tell with just the various sides of town. Like, if you go in different establishments, they'll look at you real different if they don't feel like you got enough money to be in there. Like, yeah, I see the classism more than I experience the racism, right? And I also noticed that Mexico deals with colorism just like the United States, because there are a lot of dark Mexicans, a lot of darker skinned Mexicans. But what do the ads look like? The ads look like white people. White people. So they dealing with some of the same pressing issues that we deal with in the US of A, right? And I've definitely taken notice to it. The rose-colored glasses are off, all right?
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, Africans. I hope you are doing fine where you are. And if you ain't doing fine, please do fine where you are. Yeah. Let's talk about hypocrisy. What is hypocrisy? Hypocrisy is pretending that you are a good person, but you know yourself, you are not that way. Hypocrisy is having like a double standard, You are this image on the outside and you are that image on the inside. It's like marrying a religious person. Sometimes these religious people, they show themselves as holy in the outside. To the spouse, they'll be holy on the outside. And when they come in the inside of the house, they are someone else, That's hypocrisy. And the hypocrisy of a religious person, a false religious person, is likened to the hypocrisy of the white people, The white people are quickly to the white racist, is what I mean in this case. They are so quick into pointing fingers at black families, at black children. When they see a black person just walking by or just walking in a neighborhood, what they have is just a negative stereotype. Stereotypes are negative, yeah? But I'm now adding more emphasis with the word negative. They are looking at a child, just a child who can't do no harm, with a negative stereotype, to an extent that they can even pull out their pew pew and do their pew pew. That's just how much these people are. But if you come and look closely, you'll find that the person with whom is looking bad at that child, at that black child, this person themselves, they don't live right with their children, right? They claim, oh, I'm protecting my family. But when they are told to really take care of their family, they are unable. It's just hypocrisy. And this hypocrisy is always built on envy, is always built on jealousy, it's always built on anger, and it's always built on a sense of superiority, You feel I'm superior than you. So I'll have to show you this image. I'll have to show you that image. Now, it's just a huge pile of lies that they've been telling black people. And we already know that these people are not people to be trusted. The racist is what I mean. Because some of the white people say that we have black racists. Now, I'm not speaking about white people. I have some white friends. So I can't really say white people. I can say white racists who think that they are superior than blacks. That is what I'm speaking about, right? So a woman by the name Tabitha speaks politics, or Tabitha speaks to the world, somewhere around that. She talks about how these black people, she talks about how these white racists should, first of all, take care of their own, to say that they want to take care of the black problem. And I think that is a just cause, that is a just argument that Tabitha is trying to give. I want us to listen to her, get a perspective of a black American experiencing white hypocrisy in America. I shall get back by the end of the video, where we shall also have a deep critical analysis. Let's dive in.
Where are my Mexican people this morning that follow me? My Mexican people that follow me and who understands the political system here in the United States, come on down to the front. Come on down to the front. Y'all get up out of the seats down front. Let our Mexican brothers and sisters who understand the political system here in the United States and who aren't filled with racism and anti-blackness, let them have the seats down front. Come on down. Come on down. I want y'all, I want to have a discussion with y'all. I want y'all to understand clearly what is going on. Y'all down front? Okay, I see y'all. Let's talk. This right here, this is one of y'all's people. This is one of y'all's people that uses his platform to antagonize and disrespect black people. The first time he came across my For You page, this is the video that he put out.
You know how y'all black people look at us and say, damn, why is Chico driving that badass truck? Why is Amigo having that badass car? You know how that is? We stick together.
That video came out a few years ago, at the most 2, maybe 2.5. So I could only find a clip. I couldn't find the full video. But this is the type of shit that he puts out on his page to purposely disrespect and antagonize black people. I promise you, nobody looks at whatever car you're driving, whatever you're wearing, whatever you're doing, and wonders how you got it. Not one black person does that. You know who does that? Racist white people do that. Racist white people look at you Mexicans just like they look at us black people. And if we are doing well for ourselves, they sit back and wonder how you got such and such and such and such. Clear? Okay, so now that the election is over, the election of 2024 is over, this is what this same person is saying.
Lately, I have seen a lot of videos of black people making fun of Mexicans for what's happening right now with Mexican people. I have also seen black people make videos talking about Mexicans. Don't come to us for help because we're not helping. First of all, Mexicans are not alone. They have Honduran people, they have Salvadorian people, they have Guatemalan people, they have Nicaraguan people, and a whole bunch of other countries.
He mentions all of those countries, but he didn't mention Puerto Ricos, and he didn't mention Cubans specifically. Why is that? Why is that? So he's going to push this message that Mexicans or the Hispanic community sticks together, but 2 of the most prevalent Hispanic communities that vote in this country, he doesn't mention them at all. But let's let him continue.
First of all, Mexicans are not alone. They have Honduran people, they have Salvadorian people, they have Guatemalan people, they have Nicaraguan people, and a whole bunch of other countries that are willing to join forces with the Mexican people. Black people, what makes you think that Mexicans are going to come running to y'all for help? What for? Y'all black people can't even help yourselves. That's wild. Mexican people are hardworking people.
He says that as if we aren't watching the videos of Mexican people calling for black people to help and to unify for what it is that they are currently going through. He mentions that Mexicans are hardworking people, as if black people aren't hardworking people. He mentions that why should Mexicans come to black people because black people can't even help ourselves? We seem to be doing just fine. We seem to be doing just fine. We have fallouts in the black community regularly. But when it really came down to it, Black people unified and Hispanics did not. But let's let them continue.
Even help yourselves. That's wild. Mexican people are hardworking people. Mexican people stick together. They make it work. That's the total opposite of a black person. You want to call me a racist? Go right ahead. I'm just keeping it real. Like I said, Mexican people are not alone. They have all of us. What makes you think that a Mexican will say, oh, okay, well, we have the blacks. Let's go to them. Come on now. Y'all don't even trust each other. What makes you think that a Mexican will trust you if you don't even trust your brother? Get your popcorn ready and watch how Mexicans make this work.
Is this how y'all stick together? Y'all lives were on the line. Your livelihood, your lives here in the United States were on the line. And this is how y'all stuck together. Latino women, 39% voted for you all to be deported. Latino men, 54% of you voted to have your family members, your friends, your children, your nieces, your nephews deported. That's how y'all stick together. If that's how y'all stick together, I'll stick to how black people stick together, where 92% of black women voted to protect all marginalized communities, especially the Mexican community, where 77% to 80%, because I've seen where it comes to black men, I've seen between 77 and 80% of black men voted to protect all POC communities, specifically the Mexican community. I'll take how black people stick together over how you all stick together. Yes, I've seen the videos of black people taunting the Mexican community. Yes, and I can understand where that is coming from. It is coming from the decades, the years of the disrespect, the anti-blackness, the racism coming from the Hispanic community. It's frustrating and it's angering because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my black ancestors. So for you all to come here and disrespect us when we have not shown that in kind, yeah, I can understand why these videos are popping up. Furthermore, I still don't understand all of the smoke that y'all have for black people when these are the people who are implementing the policy to boot you all from these United States.
I don't give two shits that families are being separated if somebody's getting deported. I actually find it hilarious. It gives me a great deal of comfort.
You got no smoke for these demons who specifically voted for Donald Trump to have you separated from your family and deported from this country as inhumanely as possible. You got no smoke for all of these people who are celebrating this happening.
There were ICE operations in Northern Virginia over the weekend as well. This is video of one of those operations in Fairfax County. Residents there expressing concern about enforcement teams coming to their doors. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey is live in the Beacon Hill area now with what we know about the operation. Julie, what can you tell us?
Well, hang on. These are actually called the Beacon Hill Apartments. When you're going down Richmond Highway in Fairfax County, they're right behind the Home Depot and the Giant. And the residents in that particular building, they tell me they had a rude awakening yesterday morning when the ICE agents rolled in. That's how Sunday morning started for the residents in this three-story building. One resident says he was awakened around 6:15.
I woke up to very loud, what I would categorize as aggressive knocks at my door. I approached the door, but before opening it, I asked who it was. I heard in response that it was the police. I asked if they had a warrant. They indicated that they did.
He says when they gave him an Hispanic name he didn't recognize, he opened the door.
I fully expected to see Fairfax County police at the door. Instead, I saw a group of men. It was at least 4, but I think it was more, decked out in what I would describe as like tactical gear.
In the video provided to News 4 by another resident, you can see the word police and the acronym ERO, which stands for Enforcement and Removal Operations within ICE.
I told them that they should be ashamed of themselves, that they were breaking up families, and that, what my government was doing was embarrassing, and they're embarrassing our country.
Early morning door knocks more traumatic for another neighbor who spoke to our Telemundo 44 partner and asked we conceal her identity. They were knocking very hard on the door. They were trying to force it open. They kept trying to turn the handle and kept pushing hard against the door. She says the incident was so frightening to her 10-year-old that she was crying and asked not to go to school today. She's afraid that when she comes home from school, I'll be gone. Residents say they do not believe anyone was taken into custody. This resident telling our Juliana Valencia he's upset everyone was subjected to the pre-dawn door knocks.
And I asked them, hey, if you have a warrant, it's for a specific apartment. Are you knocking on everyone's door? I kind of reiterated some of the concerns. The individual who seemed to be in charge threatened to lock me up, asked me if I wanted to be locked up. That would be more accurate.
Across the country on Sunday, ICE officers arrested 956 people. That compared to about 300 a day back in September. More than 2,600 people have been picked up since President Trump's inauguration. The White House social media feed featuring post after post of people ICE has arrested. We asked ICE for more information and about why they came to this Beacon Hill building, who they were looking for, but we have not yet received a response.
Imagine, Mexicans, that you've got thousands of racist white magnates cheering on and sharing news reports like that. They love what is happening to your community. They voted overwhelmingly for this to happen to your community. And you've got no smoke for them. You've got all the smoke for Black people who overwhelmingly voted for your community to be safe. This guy is so anti-Black, so racist, that he is focused on being disrespectful towards Black people, trying to antagonize Black people, rather than trying to work to save the people in his own community. That's how deep racism and anti-Blackness runs throughout your community. And there will be no unity between Black people and the Hispanic community until they address the racism and anti-Blackness that festers within your community. Now, I don't know. Maybe the Hispanic community isn't really trying to unify with the Black community. If that's the case, we'll be cool. But don't get up on this app talking about how unified your community is when your unifying leads to your destruction.
I believe in Mexico there is more racism than here in the United States. I'm from Mexico. And we have levels, stratus, right? The Black people, Indian people, mixed people, white people, Spanish white people, and maybe the higher level or your color of your skin defines your status, right?
When I was learning who I was so excited to know pretty much where I come from. That, hey man, listen, this whole time we thought we were Mexicans, and although technically we are, there's something deeper to just being Mexican. So when I was learning the history, I remember I thought that if I shared it with my mom, I would perhaps awaken something in her and perhaps also help her develop pride in that. So one day, I sat with her and I said, hey mom, I was doing some research and I was finding out that we people from where we're from, we were known as Chichimeca. And she looks at me and she says, huh? It's like, yeah, we spoke an indigenous language and we're indigenous people, mom. And she says, no, we're not. I said, mom, what do you mean? We're indigenous people. And she said, ¿estás pendejo? I said, then what are we, mom? And she says, somos mexicanos. Like, yeah, I know, but ethnically, we're Mexicans because we're born there. Sure, I got you. But ethnically, what are we? And she's so puzzled. Somos mexicanos, mijo? Yeah, mom, but that's our nationality. We're just born in Mexico, sure. But ethnically, mom, what are we? She looks at me, she says, no sé, pero no somos pinches indios. And that's when I realized, you see, it's worked. The plan and the efforts of the colonizer have worked. We are ashamed to be what we're supposed to be. Or more accurately, we were taught to be ashamed of our origins. So now we have a bunch of people talking about, yo no soy un pinche indio. And then we refer to people of Oaxaca, Oaxaquita. See, all these things begin to make sense to me. Everything begins to make sense. Now, me thinking back on when I was a kid and my dad used to call her pinche Oaxaquita fea. Now I was like, I get it. So now that I bring forth this piece of knowledge, piece of information to my mom, we're indigenous people. All she probably, her trauma told her, is my son trying to tell me that we're those Oaxaquitas? So it makes complete sense why we are the way that we are. And not just the self-shame aspect of it. Not only are we taught to feel ashamed of who we are, so we're over here talking about, somos de España and stuff like that, right? But worse is we also have these people trying to throw terminologies at us, talking about Latino, Hispanic. Notice how everything they throw at us identifies us as people of Europe. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that the systemic effort is to do their best to try to identify us as if we're people of Europe? How come they never try to umbrella us all as indigenous people? If you must umbrella us all, why is it always the umbrella of the identity that belongs to Europeans? Why are we never umbrellaed under the identity of indigenous?
Don't get me wrong, this is something I absolutely acknowledge, is that there is racism and classism in our own country. And we talk about it amongst our own people too. There's colorism going on in Mexico. I don't know if you've ever watched a Spanish soap opera, a novela, but there is tons of very light-skinned, blue-eyed, green-eyed Mexicans on novelas because that's what's attractive. And usually the person that's like the drug seller or the person that lives in the street or the caretaker, she's very dark-skinned. So trust me, we know this happens in Mexico. I'm not blind to this at all. I'm not blind to the fact that this hotel owner only cares about his pockets. And yes, absolutely boycotting the hotel could cost some people's jobs. But those same people that play banda music on the beach shore also make a living from that. The problem is with all of it, the gentrification of our countries, the audacity of people coming to our country demanding things, the entitlement, the racism, the small-minded people. I hate all of it. And I'm not excluding our own people either, like I said. I know it happens. It's very sad. Please don't paint me out to be a white people hater either, not at all. I got much love for humankind, period. I always give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But that will never stop me from standing up for my raza, my people, my culture, and forget where I came from.
So one of the main reasons that people freak out when you say that you want to travel, especially solo travel to Mexico, is because of the heavy negative stigma that Mexicans have in the United States, which is all built upon falsehoods and propaganda, stereotypes, racism, etc. Obviously, wherever you go in the world, there is something going on there. But newsflash, when I was in Mexico and when I went there, solo traveled, backpacked for 5 months, no plan. I was living with families, babe. I was in the neighborhoods. I wasn't in no tourist shit. I was when I chose to be. But in general, I was living like a local Mexican. I was so fulfilled. And at the base level, Mexicans simply care about love and respect. Everywhere you go, it's hola, ¿cómo estás? You make eye contact with somebody. It's buen dia, buenas tardes. At the barest of minimum in Mexico, they see you as humans. The Mexican people have healed my soul and my spirit simply because they value the human experience, connectivity, love, honor, and respect. I can only speak highly of the Mexican people because they are what helped me feel confident enough to be myself. And it's so sad that in Mexico they just have this terrible reputation, but that's actually because they're great people. And you'll find that in this lifetime, a lot of things are inverted, you know? There's a reason why they try to keep you away from Mexico. Because maybe, just maybe, the people, the land, the atmosphere, and the spirit over there is beyond logic. They are some of the most magical people walking this earth simply because they choose to walk in love most of the time.
Now, what Tabitha has said is undoubtedly the truth. You know, before you rush, you run very fast into quenching the fire burning your neighbor's house. I think you should look at your own house if it's burning. And if it is, I think you should extinguish your fire first before you extinguish the others, because that way you'll show love, you'll show true love. You know, you can't love me if you don't love you. And if you're trying to show me that you love me, then you love you. It's not love, it's a play. You're playing a game, you know. It's like you're playing cards. So that's the first sign of showing if it's true love. True love means you love other people just as you love yourself. You know, you love someone greater to an extent that you also love yourself, right? Now, we all know the situation in America. We all know it's been told many times, it's been said many times, the racism, the police brutality, the corruption, the shooting, all that which happens, you know. So we've had black presidents also, like Obama, try to come into power. We thought he would bring a change, but we didn't see that great of a change that black people expected. What I really noticed is that when Obama came into power, we kind of had just a normal thing. If not worse, it was normal than what it's always been, you know. And what Tabitha is speaking right now is we have white homeless people, right? We have white people who are under the influence of narcotics, right? We have white people who are having higher divorce rates, right? We have white people who are also inmates, right? So before we point fingers at the blacks, you blacks, you use too much narcotics. You blacks, you a lot of divorce rate. You blacks, so many inmates. You blacks, homeless. You blacks, you carry this particular illness. The same problem is faced with the other white counterparts. Now, a true love means, if I come to look it now, a true love, as Tabitha illustrated, to me, I understand this way. True love is when you love that person the same way you love you. You know, if your concern is genuine, that concern should also reflect on your own self, right? If it only reflects on the other person and not your own self, that's not true love. America's white people and America's black people and America's entire community, Indian, Red Indian, the Hispanics, the Latinas, all these cultures should just learn to work together, stay together, because in the totality of reality, we are all one people. We are all just a single race, right? The only difference is the skin texture and the color of the skin, right? But beneath it, I can reproduce with a white person and give birth to a viable offspring, right? That viable offspring can also give birth to a viable offspring. So we are just falling on the same species, because a species is a group of organisms whose members can freely interbreed and give rise to viable offsprings. So once you belong to the same species as we do, Homo sapiens. So species is sapiens, genus is Homo. We all fall under genus Homo, species sapien. There's no one who is Homo sapien or Homo whatever species. We all belong to the same species. And if we do, we all are one people. Love should transcend all boundaries. That is my belief as EFK Evans from Kenya. and share your belief on the comment section. I'd love to hear what you think. Yes. Again, this is EFK. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.